hear about its great discoveries, and pay your respects to all the victims of war.
Let me ask you a question. Come here, come here. Are there a lot of you in this game? Because your voice is very annoying. No response?
What's up, everybody? Hope all is well. Ambitious yet designed by committee. That's how I'd explain Atomic Heart, and I'm waffling hard on it. Some aspects I straight up despise, like game-breaking levels of dislike. On the other hand, some aspects I really enjoyed, like yes, this is exactly what I wanted. As a result, initially my review had a pretty negative slant, but as I drifted off to sleep last night, something dawned on me. This is Mundfish's first effort, and while I'm hesitant to recommend the game, I have no reservations recommending the developer is someone to, keep your eye on, because there is potential here, that is when it's not falling all over itself. Now, when I talk about Atomic Heart feeling like it was designed by committee, it's just that, a feeling. Tough to put into words, rather a collection of tiny, subtle things you experience or notice in a playthrough. For Atomic Heart specifically, certain areas excel, others are deficient, and its strengths are never leveraged to enhance its weaker aspects. We'll get into it, but an example is the world design and storytelling. Those two go hand in hand, but despite the big set pieces and immersive world, Mundfish never takes advantage of it to tell the story. I'm talking about stuff like the theater scene in BioShock, where Jack learns he's been mind-controlled, or the lab scene in Wolfenstein, where one of your decisions from the game's opening moments comes back to haunt you. These are moments not just enhanced by the art and level design, but actually born of it. You look back and think, yeah, the story couldn't have gone a better direction, and it couldn't have played out in a better place. But Atomic Heart falls short here. Instead, the environments are simply window dressing, a distant view of a forest through your car window. Nice to look at, but, serves no tangible function in getting from point A to B. The hope with games like Atomic Heart is that there's something for everyone, and while everyone won't like everything, the dream is each aspect is good enough to make you look beyond the parts you don't like and keep playing. So, example, maybe you don't care about RPG elements and just want a good shooter. Well, if the RPG elements are accessible and improve the shooter aspect, odds are you, as the player, will tolerate or, maybe even appreciate them. Same goes for the combat, story and writing, world design, puzzle solving, and so on. It's successful. It all coalesces to become something more than the sum of its parts and universally loved, to be held up for years or even decades to come as the shining example of what a video game can be. Think BioShock. So, where's Atomic Heart land? While I don't feel Atomic Heart's components coalesce to become something more, the fact is the components are there, and maybe they will for you. I think this is a game for some people, just not me. The long answer, however, is more revealing. Let's do it.
We have sort of a problem here.
I'm gonna try to keep my composure.
Come on, don't waste your time explaining that garbage. Let's go.
Just a minute, let me finish.
This is bad. This is very bad.
Very bad. Very bad.
Surely you can't be serious.
I am serious. And don't call me Shirley.
And I sit up there and I literally articulate the stuff that this man has done. I'm gonna lose my mind. I ain't gonna be able to do the rest of the show, I'm telling you right now.
Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it.
This, today, is one of the worst days that I've had in a long time. I'm not in the mood to play with anybody.
I can't talk about it anymore. It's giving me a headache.
I suggest you don't worry about this sort of thing and just enjoy yourself. That goes for you all, too. Yes.
We should probably go ahead and shut that off.
Well, let's be nice. Let's be nice. We don't have to go there. I mean, you're not wrong, but you didn't have to say it. I mean, good Lord.
Let's start off on a positive note. The art and world design is pretty to look at, no doubt, except for the, glaring and really disappointing lack of the promised RTX features, but whatever, by and large, it feels authentic. It has that feeling every foot's been considered, with clutter and graffiti and obstacles and displays of tech anarchy. It's a retro futuristic theme, that is, it's designed in a way that someone from the 1950s might have envisioned a technologically advanced future, and I think they nailed it. Everything's a mishmash of wood and steel and exotic materials, how I'd imagine things might look when advancing to such heights so quickly. And it does have its moments, like this one here. Early in the game, I actually genuinely felt immersed. It felt complete and full, and I stopped a moment to take it in.
Greetings, comrades. I am Dmitry Sechenov, and this is Facility 3826. A warm welcome to your future.
Now, the world consists of two parts, a somewhat open world section on the surface and a more linear section below where most of the game plays out. And there's a stark change from the advanced looking civilization of early game to the dark and dank depths later that serve as a nice way to convey how often what the public sees of a nation is just a pretty facade and its underbelly is usually morally questionable. So yeah, on an artistic level, I think it's good. Functionally though, not so much, especially underground. Towards the end of one night, I needed to find these 2 orange orbs to unlock some doors. I had one but couldn't find the other. I spent an hour looking all over trying different things. At one point, I was even zapping loaders, jumping off them to places I probably wasn't meant to be. I was so frustrated, I just logged off. The next day, I log in and continue my efforts. After about an hour of looking around, I noticed dead robots and stuff on the ground. I realized I'd spent the last hour backtracking through these underground sections, and now I had to go back. Almost 2 hours of literally walking around. I was back at square one. It was ridiculous. Eventually, after looking around some more, I just stumbled upon the key, laying on the ground in some random corner, but the whole time, no hint or directional marker. It was just such a waste of time, I thought. And this parallels with the game's heavy reliance on puzzles. Look, I get it. Some people like puzzles and platforming, but I do not. And often the puzzles in Atomic Heart aren't really puzzles, just a typical look around for a clue or a code that you find on some random piece of paper laying on the ground a few hundred feet away. It's crazy.
The combination is 1,
1, 1,
2,
2, 2,
3,
3, 3,
4,
4, 4,
5,
5, 5. So the combination is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's the stupidest combination I ever heard in my life. That's the kind of thing an idiot would have on his luggage. Thank you, Your Highness. What did you do? I turned off the wall. No, you didn't. You turned off the whole movie. I must have pressed the wrong button. Well, put it back on. Put the movie back on. Yes, sir.
The level design and puzzles tell me Mundfish wants the player to take their time and explore the level, and that's fine, but I'm the type of player who wants more reward for doing so. Maybe I'm selfish, I don't know. Like, let me progress automatically, but tell me if I crack some code, I can take a shiny new weapon locked just out of reach behind a door or something like that, you know, with the right incentives, I'm down. But forcing me to wander around aimlessly is just a poor use of my time. Let's talk combat. Oh baby, it is average, sorry to say. The same themes persist, some good, some bad. Melee combat feels great, gunplay feels average. Mobility is strange in that there is a dash, but no run. Enemy pacing is, well, there is no pacing, and the RPG elements offer up a solid variety and system, but I personally find the mechanics clunky and tough to utilize as I envision or dream of. How it works is as you explore, you pick up supplies that are later used for crafting gear, upgrading weapons, and unlocking new abilities. And said upgrades and unlocks aren't one and done. They're deep and you can master a few or get them all for flexibility. Conceptually, I dig the ideas, but in actual execution, they just never jived with me, almost like they felt laggy to use. All in all, mechanically, it's not a bad experience. I'd say, you know, it's average at best, the acceptable mark. Now, in this world, everything's under the watchful eye of security cameras, so combat encounters are plentiful, and if you don't play your cards right, they're relentless. Like, if you don't keep moving and get out of view of the cameras, they'll just keep sending enemies, and resources like ammo are really scarce. As such, in a roundabout way, you're almost encouraged to literally just run through and away from engagements. It's a little unfortunate. Thankfully, there is a pretty decent variety of enemy types, so when I was in combat, it didn't really get stale or predictable, and some of the enemies are no freaking joke. Like everything we talked about so far, the components to a good game are here, but some just aren't executed as well as others. I think the RPG elements they've added are great. I think the variety of weapons and abilities and upgrades and playstyles are great, but putting it all to use, the mechanics in a smooth, flowing way where you become one with the game just never happened for me. But in Mundfish's defense, that's a very subtle, subjective, almost magical thing that comes with years and decades of experience. When I think about games that feel smooth and flowy to play, they're all from legendary, long-term studios and games that have had forever to evolve it. Doom, Destiny, Overwatch, to name a few. So, you know, maybe next game, Mundfish. So, final thoughts. There is one important thing you should know. There's no field of view slider, and a really small field of view, like there is in Atomic Heart, can make some people sick.
This really small field of view is making me dizzy.
What are you doing here anyway?
I need to stop.
It's been more than a decade since I got dizzy playing a video game, but it happened to me 3 times in the first 2 days playing Atomic Heart. The tiny postage stamp size windows, the constant camera bobbing, the unnatural movements and angles.
No sweat, Sonny.
Dude, what's up with this camera shake? My God, this is ridiculous. No field of view. And the camera shake is just making me want to puke at every freaking turn. Is like, holy cow. Shader cache, gameplay, camera shake, strength. We want that. Oh, of course, it won't go off completely. Holy cow, man. Jesus, is brutal. I know a lot of you might be thinking I'm overdoing it right now. I'm not, man. It's been, I can't even tell you, a decade since I last got sick playing a video game. You know, they fixed that so long ago, but this minimal field of view, I'm getting like 160 frames a second, but it still feels like it's jittery. The camera is constantly shaking. This is ridiculous, man. I've had this on for 2 minutes and I want to puke.
It was brutal, but like I said, after a few days, my brain did adjust and I was okay. If you're sensitive to that sort of stuff though, it's something you should definitely be aware of. That aside, what do I think of Atomic Heart? Well, I think it's a definite Game Pass play for just about everyone. Nothing to lose, right? It's basically free. Being appreciative of the art behind games, I think Atomic Heart passes that bar, and I can say, yeah, you know, it's worth checking out, especially for free. However, if you want to buy it, just be aware of what you're getting into. It's a pretty robust game with all the checkboxes marked. Like I said, it has all the components you'd want in a game like this, and it has a lot of potential. It just never clicked for me, and it's, you know, 50-50 if it'll click for you. I was impressed at times, sure, but more often than not, I was left scratching my head or just flat out disappointed. There was a lot of talk about Ken Levine being a creative juggernaut when making BioShock. Some rumors would say a tyrant even, but unhealthy workplace aside, I think having a singular vision that's forced onto every aspect of the game that ensures they all work together to elevate the experience is what Atomic Heart's missing. Like, the sexed up vending machine's funny, but how does it fit in this world? This is a global emergency. This is Russia, the most miserable place on earth. There's nothing funny here, so why are you trying to make me laugh? And with that, I'm done. Appreciate taking the time. Take care of one another, and I will see you soon.
How about some music? That's more like it.
И на все деньги купи